Hello and welcome back to my studio. Well, it's hard to overstress the importance of color temperature. You've heard me speak about color temperature probably in many of my demonstrations. But what exactly is it and how does it work in practice? Well, it's a large subject, but I'm going to stick to the basics and show you in a quick demonstration how I use color temperature to add an extra bit of impact and pizzazz to a landscape painting. So let's have a look at color temperature in action. Now, if you've never heard of color temperature before, it's simply how we perceive the color temperature of our paints. You know that yellow is warm and blue and green are cool. But each of them in relation to the other, well, it may not be that simple. The red may be cooler than the yellow and the green warmer than the blue. So it's all about one color in relation to another. You compare one to the other and you decide which one looks warmer and which one looks cooler. And if you can put them in the right place so they really work nicely together, the painting gets life and spark. So we've got to be aware of color temperature and start using it deliberately. So you build up your confidence with it and eventually you'll be painting with an intuitive response to color temperature and it'll just be happening almost automatically. But it requires practicing the right things. So I'm going to show you how I handled this painting reference. It's a tranquil, peaceful little scene with some nice light and dark contrast. But how do I turn this into something that's got more punch and interesting warm and cool colors? Let's have a look how this developed. It starts with your color selection. Get warm and cool colors of the primaries. My cerulean blue is cool, ultramarine blue is warm, lemon yellow is cool, deep yellow is warm, and cadmium red light is warm, and alizarin crimson is cool. And these make for harmonious color mixes. Starting off with the cool darks, blocking those in with ultramarine blue, perhaps a touch of burnt sienna, even a little bit of yellow into that. But basically the cool dark shadow areas. And now warmer green by adding a bit of yellow, and that immediately creates a middle value warm. More yellow, and it becomes a lighter warm color. Warm in relation to the cool shadows. So there's a little more indirect light in the middle of the scene. So the dark, cool areas are getting more light and therefore appearing to be more green, but they are still in shadow and therefore must be cool. Warm color is made cooler with blue. So here I've got burnt sienna, which is a warm color by nature, but I'm adding a touch of white and blue to cool them down so they look like the shadow in the road. Now we're getting some light over there, so I've added yellow and orange to the burnt sienna. I could make it a bit lighter as well with white, but it's still going to be warm over there. So we got our cool foreground basically set in. And now we can go into the lights. Alright, so we're getting the warm lights where sunlight is hitting. That's going to be warmer. So more yellow. I've got the lemon yellow. Now I can add some variety to that by making subtle temperature shifts. A touch of blue or a little bit of white. That warm color is getting cooled down a bit, but it's still a warm color. And you say, why is it a warm color? I'm saying it's warm because direct sunlight is hitting that color and therefore it's going to be warm in relation to shadow colors. A little bit of variety in the distant treetops there, so a little bit of blue. Still relatively warm though. So all of these warm colors with a little bit of variety within them. look at the warm color set against those cool shadow colors, and we get these beautiful dappled light effects. Add spark and interest to your shadows that way as well. The sky is basically a warm light color, so light in value, mostly white and a touch of yellow. So now we've got all the colors blocked in. Now we can start adding interest with little value and temperature shifts, right? So I'm adding darker accents here, but they are cool. Still not changing this foreground from a cool color. Warm highlights, mostly yellow and white. Adding a little bit of variety there because I want a suggestion of some orange colors. So you can see the stark contrast between the lights that are warm and the shadow colors that are cool. I've added a bit of extra variety in there. Let's get the tape off, and you can see how color temperature changes have made this an interesting painting. Okay, that is a quick overview of color temperature, and I'm sure you can agree that the painting has some interest, and in those shadows there is also some intriguing details, suggestions, and that is simply color temperature being used. Obviously, values is also an important part of this painting, but if we just went with dark and light, it would have lost something. So we have to play with that color temperature and make the painting a lot more interesting and engaging for the viewer, and that means your painting stands out and maybe gets sold if that's what you want. So if you want to learn more about color temperature, I will be doing an extended demonstration of this painting and adding that to my course, Learn to Paint with Impact. So there's something there that you may want to consider as well. Have a look up here at the link. I've got 5 free painting courses, something you may want to check out if you're looking for an introduction to your painting. And of course, subscribe to my channel. There's a lot more painting demonstrations, tips, and interesting things coming up in the future for you. So you don't want to miss that either. And while you're doing that, I hope you find time for some painting this weekend. Have fun, and until next time, cheers for now.